All right, let's dive into something huge today. We're going to talk about building true self-discipline. And I'm not talking about some temporary motivational hype or waiting for the perfect moment of inspiration. No, this is about a blueprint, a structured process for actually becoming the person you know you can be.
So let's just start with a really direct question. And I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. How many promises have you broken to yourself just this week? Think about it. Was it the alarm you snoozed, the workout you decided to skip, that healthy meal you planned but then swapped for takeout? It's so easy to just brush these little things off, but what if they matter way more than we think?
Because here's the thing, and this is absolutely crucial. Every single time you tell yourself you're going to do something and then you don't, it's a tiny defeat. It might seem like no big deal in the moment, but those little defeats, they stack up. They slowly, quietly chip away at the trust you have in yourself. Each broken promise is literally a vote you cast against the future version of you, and it trains your brain to believe that your own word, well, it doesn't really matter. And that leads us right into our first section here, the daily defeats. See, this isn't about some massive failure of willpower. It's about the small, almost invisible battles that we lose against ourselves every single day, and the crushing weight they have on our mental strength over time. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's not just about the missed task. When you skip the gym, you think you're just avoiding some sweat. But what you're really doing is skipping the chance to prove to yourself that you can follow through. These aren't just failures to act. They are missed opportunities to build real, solid self-worth.
So, if the problem is this constant drip of daily defeats, what's the solution? Well, that brings us to our second section, and it's an idea that might sound a little backward at first. Discipline is freedom. It's all about changing where we look for our power, shifting from something unreliable to something you can actually count on. I mean, think about it. We are obsessed with motivation. We scroll for it, we wait for it to strike, we feel completely lost when it's not there. But what if I told you motivation is a liar? Seriously, why? Because it's a feeling, it's an emotion, and just like any other feeling, it comes and goes. It is completely, totally unreliable. Waiting to feel like it is a one-way ticket to failure.
And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Motivation is a feeling. It's always asking, do I feel like doing this? It just sits around waiting for energy to show up. But with discipline, that's a skill. It's something you build. It asks a much better question. Does this need to get done? It doesn't wait for momentum. It goes out and creates it.
Look, at the end of the day, discipline is what shows up to work when motivation calls in sick. And this isn't about beating yourself up or punishing yourself. Not at all. It's about giving yourself freedom. Freedom from guilt, freedom from that nagging feeling of regret, and freedom from being a slave to your own changing moods. It's the key to finally trusting yourself again.
Okay, so this all sounds good, right? But how do we actually build this discipline? We've talked about the what and the why, now it's time for the how. So let's get into section 3, building brick by brick. This is where we make it practical. I want you to picture this. Your biggest goal is on the other side of a giant, massive cavern. You can't just jump across. You'd never make it. The only way to get there is to build a bridge. And how do you build a bridge that massive? One single brick at a time. Each brick is one small, consistent action. That's it. So here's the actual blueprint. First, you have to know what kind of bridge you're even building. Write your vision down. Get crystal clear on your goals. Second, lay one brick. Don't stare at the other side of the cavern and get overwhelmed. Just focus on the very next tiny action. And third, and listen, this is the secret sauce, you have to embrace the boredom. Mastery is just repetition. This is where 99% of people quit because the daily grind isn't exciting. If you can master the mundane, you win.
But of course, laying those bricks isn't just about putting in the work. There's a whole war going on right between our ears, isn't there? And that brings us to section 4, winning the inner war. This is about fighting back against the anxiety and the self-doubt that tries to stop you from even picking up the next brick.
So let's define the enemy, shall we? What even is anxiety? Well, here's a beautifully simple way to think about it. It's just you thinking about something in the future and your body hitting the panic button. That's it. It's that what-if spiral that feels so real it literally makes your heart race. It's your mind creating a disaster movie about a future that hasn't even happened. So how do you turn off that alarm? Here's an incredibly simple but powerful tool. First, you have to get good at recognizing when the alarm is going off. The second you catch yourself worrying, you interrupt it. You physically stop the thought pattern by counting backward. 5, 4, 3,
2, 1. It sounds silly, but doing that pulls you out of your panic brain and into your thinking brain, and it creates just enough space for you to reframe. And what do you fill that space with? This question. Instead of asking, oh my God, what if it all goes wrong? You ask yourself, what if it all works out? It's such a simple switch, but it is profound. You can't argue with it. It hijacks that negative spiral and forces your brain to imagine success, and that alone can start to calm the alarm bells in your body.
All right, this brings us to our final section where we're going to tie all of this together with a message that's, well, it's a little blunt, but it's also the most empowering thing you can possibly hear. Section 5, you are the savior.
This is the hard truth at the very center of all of this. We spend so much of our lives secretly hoping someone or something will come rescue us. The perfect job, a lucky break, you name it. But the reality is, nobody is coming. No one can do the push-ups for you. The responsibility, it rests entirely on you.
And you know, while that might sound harsh at first, it's actually the most liberating idea in the world. As the quote says, it was always you, and it will always ever be just you. You're the one with the power. You're the hero of your own story. You are the only one who can pick yourself up, lay that next brick, and win that inner war.
So it all comes down to this. You hold the power, and the blueprint is right here in front of you. It's just a series of small, consistent actions. The only question left is the one you see on the screen. You are the architect of your own life, of your self-respect. So, what will you build today?